And meteorologist Rochelle J joins me now. And Rochelle, we were so fortunate this weekend to get a rare sighting of the Northern Lights. And you actually have an explanation about what exactly we were seeing with all those colors.
Yeah, so what happens is a piece of energy comes off of the sun. It has to go in the right direction for us here on Earth to deal with the northern, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, the southern lights. And we got the top of the scale, one of the strongest storms we've seen in decades, and this is what we were seeing on Friday evening. Now, each of those colors, beautiful, right? But it has to do with something different in the atmosphere and the strength of the storm itself. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. What makes up the colors of the northern lights? I mentioned that we get that solar energy moving in our direction, right? So that comes along with charged particles, and those particles will react to different gases in our atmosphere. And mostly we're talking about nitrogen and oxygen. Let's start off with oxygen. The most common color for the northern lights is actually green. But here in Connecticut and some other places, of course, they saw a lot of pinks. We had a lot of pink pictures coming in. We just showed you some of those a second ago. And what's happening there, those particles are still interacting with oxygen, but they're in lower concentrations, and we get those pinks when we have that more that more intense solar energy like we had on Friday night. We were at the top of the scale for solar activity on Friday night. And along with the pinks, we also saw a few blues and purples. Those are also more rare than the greens coming along with that intense solar activity, but we get those blues and those purples when those particles interact with the nitrogen versus the oxygen in our atmosphere.